Dear fellow patriot, as you know, we have been discussing with incredible fascination the matter of one Fani Willis in her witch hunt, in her absolutely incomprehensibly skewed and baseless prosecution for racketeering against the next president of the United States, Donald John Trump. Now, that notwithstanding, this case has been absolutely fraught with problems from the beginning. And what we appear to be seeing right now is something that nobody wants to really address. And that is that Fani and Wade, her garage door lover boy, are absolutely the most despicable examples and exemplars of the American juridical system. They are an absolute disgrace, a disgrace to the proud job and roles of prosecutors, of which I proudly served during my nascent legal career. Many do. It's a wonderful opportunity, one of the best places ever, along with public defenders' offices and the like, because you get to try cases where you get to really understand the way trial law works, not appellate advocacy, not, this highfalutin, dare I say, academic world of la la land. You'd be surprised how many professors there are out there who never tried a case. And some professors aren't even a member of the bar. But I'm not dismissing them, but there's a certain degree of theory that has nothing to do with reality. Now, the judge in this particular case has ruled accordingly. Let me see if I can make any sense of this whatsoever, and I will tell you what my thoughts are. In this particular case, Judge Scott McAfee, a Republican apparently, who I believe was appointed by Judge Kemp. And by the way, does politics, and please, I'm going to be interrupting myself, and I'm going to be interrupting you, and I'm going to be going back and forth. But does politics play a role in this? Yes. That's why federal judges are appointed for life. That's why you want to remove the taint, which is a word we're going to use again, the taint of politics. But yeah, it does. Of course it does. And especially when you have the most important case ever against the president, a former president of the United States, Donald Trump, for racketeering beyond specious. Bring in Robert Blakey. This is designed for the Gambino crime family, not a bunch of jadruls who basically barely know each other and who only have one thing in common, that they're indictees. But I digress. So Scott McAfee ruled today, just breaking today, that Fulton County District Attorney, the queen of arrogance and serial perjurer, Fani, what was that? Fani. You mean Fani? No, Fani. Fani Willis should be disqualified. Should not be, should not be DQ, disqualified, from prosecuting the racketeering case against President Trump and others, with one major condition: the biggest joke, the biggest punchline, the most hysterically funny rule I have heard heretofore. Judge McAfee found the appearance of impropriety brought about by the romantic relation with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade should result in either, the resolution, either Willis and her office leaving the case, or just Mr. Wade, whom she appointed as head of the case. That's what's funny. This guy couldn't try his way out of a paper bag. This is a guy who says, I don't want to be here. I don't know what I'm doing here. For the love of God, get me out of here. This is the most expensive piece of I've ever had in my life. I hate this case. I hate her. I hate my life. They're going to absolutely disembowel me in my divorce case because numbnuts here decided to take this case and nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about me or anything. And now I got to explain to my wife where I made $1 million from. And I've got all this financial stuff that I signed under oath. And now I'm looking at perjury. I'm looking at bar complaints. I'm looking at it and I hope to God there's no 65 project version of me because I am the target. I am the target. I sat here with my face. Remember him testifying like he's passing a hockey puck Bezoar the size of an NHL. I mean, this guy was just, God, he hated every moment of it. The stories were so stupid. The cash. Then we find out about his prostate cancer. He's got no lead in his pencil. He's just God, and he goes on. This man who apparently is sartorially gifted. This man who has very good, well-tailored suits compared to Terrence Bradley. Remember that guy? I don't know. Ashley Merchant. Terrence, it's me. Don't you remember telling me they had what are you making that noise for? This case was just beautiful. But he's going to say, thank you. I won off this case. I won out of this state. I won out of the country. But I love it. They say he didn't have to fire him. He's just not the special. He's not on the case anymore. Oh, you mean he doesn't sit at the table anymore? He doesn't sit at the table because he doesn't do anything. Don't flatter the man. He didn't do anything. He was there because Fani, that's why he did it. And here's the best part. Had they been married, listen carefully to what I'm saying. Had they been married, there would have been no conflict of interest. Nothing. There's no stake in the claim. It's the weirdest case. I don't know why anybody ever said it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether they were married or not. It doesn't matter. None of this matter, but it doesn't matter. It gets better. And we're going to go through this and we're going to explain this. Now, we're also going to go through and explain what's really interesting in the case. What's interesting is the real applications. Now, I happened to be, and I was spinning through as many of my live coverage. I was just doing my morning live broadcast here at the Nation, doing my thing, and all of a sudden they said, Mrs. L says, "Oh, there's the decision." I say, "What?" So I stopped that, read the judge's decision as soon as possible, and then here we are accordingly. All right? This is what we're doing. This is what we are doing, and this is where we are now. Do you follow? You dig? You dig what's going on here? Okay, because this stuff is fantastic. This is one of the greatest cases ever, and it has been great for a variety of reasons because you have shown this absolute incredible fascination over everything, okay? You have done this, and you have been terrific, and let's face it, and you know it, and I know it. This has been the best coverage ever. And the reason why is because, very simply, I intuitively get it. I intuitively get the story, and I know what you want. And you've also shown an incredible and uncanny ability to follow the law and to follow what's going on. And as I've told you, this case is not about, and let me tell you from the beginning, not whether they had sex or whether they were a relationship. That was never the case. Let me say this again. It was never the case. Because I want you to listen carefully. Listen very, very carefully. Had Fani Willis, that queen of arrogance, that self-entitled BS artist who, by the way, I wish somebody say, where'd you get an $8 million net worth, as was reported, from doing just basically government work in Fulton County? I don't understand this. But we'll get to that later. That's not against the law, but I think that's interesting. Let me say this again. And if you read this, the conflict of interest, the real conflict of interest, is whether you have a stake in this. Whether she decided, you know what? I really like this guy, Nathan Wade. He's such a conversationalist and a spiffy dresser. Remember Nathan Wade? He says, I don't think I ever. Did I go to her place? Let's see. Oh, Mr. Wade, this might refresh your recollection. We have Cell Hawk, huh? We know exactly where your car was. Here we have apparently what is called a booty call, where at 1:45, all of a sudden you decided to leave your home, I guess, and you were going to go to her place and then hang around at this location. And then at 4:00 in the morning, you leave and then call her back. What does Fani do? The queen of arrogance, this genius, this jadrul gets up there and says, well, I don't think these, or no, she, in filings, excuse me, she didn't testify as much as possible, but her responses were just incredible. Listen to this genius. She basically says, well, these things don't necessarily mean anything. I mean, they don't necessarily nail anything down, and they don't really do much of anything. I mean, so what? What does this even mean? Doesn't tell me exactly where I was. Doesn't mean exactly where he was. It was merely in the vicinity of where I live. So really, yeah, it doesn't really mean anything. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It's not that important. So guess what happens? Do you know how many post-conviction relief motions were filed by a whole bunch of folks who all of a sudden are saying, wait a minute, you're telling me, you mean this is all nonsense? Wait a minute, you use that in my case, in my client's case. How long have you been, wait, you're saying that this prosecutorial tool, you, the DA, are saying it's not worthy, and yet you went to courts and received and based search warrants and probable cause on this particular type of thing, which now you're saying is no good. Oh, Fani, shut the up. What's the matter with you? You don't have to say anything. But she's arrogant. She always has to respond. She's like a Karen. She's like one of those lunatics on an airplane who wants to jump across the counter, who feels affronted somehow, who says, I know my rights. She's just this obstinacy. Well, here's the best one. Well, I'll tell you what, Ms. Willis, Miss, maybe, who knows? I think that relationship has seen its better days. But you're telling us right now that this doesn't mean anything? Well, Mr. Wade, apparently, at 1:45 on, I think, 9/11, in one particular instance, you decided to go in Fulton County or whatever to her Hapeville place, or excuse me, to a place right around the Hapeville condo, right around there. Yeah, you did. Remember that? Yeah, you did that. Or maybe it wasn't her place. Any activity going on at that particular place? Do you remember at the time, Mr. Wade? Do you remember that? The Hapeville condo? Remember that Robin Brian Yurtie's place? Do you remember that? Was there any laundromats open? Any all night diners? Any hot spots? No. So no. In fact, we went around there, and the only thing that is around that Hapeville condo is nothing. So you, for some particular reason, at 1:45, get in your car and you drive there. You drive to this place that's not her house or her condo that she was subleasing. No. And you maybe you slept in your car. Maybe you just wanted some fresh air. So you get in your car and you hang around this area without moving until 4 a.m. Not her condo, mind you, not where she was subleasing, but maybe someplace else. Maybe you were an all night, maybe you were doing cornholing, the game. Pardon me. What am I saying? That is a terrible name for a game. In any event, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now, let me just warn you something. I'm going to be jumping back and forth. Jumping back and forth, and I thank you so much for all of your things. So if you have questions that you have to ask, if you like to ask questions, if you have comments, if you would like to but your insight has always been interesting. You know, it's funny. A lot of people who do this, I've noticed this. Maybe you've noticed this as well. They have live broadcasts, and they don't do anything. They don't really talk to anybody. They don't allow anybody to speak. It's the damnedest thing. They don't let anybody to speak. I mean, they have it, yeah, and they do as a yeah, but they don't let anybody speak. Uh-huh. Why do you think that is? I don't know. So let's talk about this. Whom does this help? Let me tell you who should be real happy right now. Who do you think? Who do you think should be real happy? Who should be absolutely happy beyond happy? Very simply put, President Trump and Nathan Wade. President Trump should be happier than you can imagine. Because here's the thing. Does anybody here really think that anybody wants, first of all, you don't want this case prosecuted, but does anybody really want anybody competent doing this? No. Does anybody want somebody competent? No. Did anybody want a real, because by the way, Mr. Floyd, I believe, who is really, really good, he is he's one of the experts in this. He knows what he's doing. Because by the way, you do know, right, that it's not that Fani is prosecuting nothing. She's there in title only. John Floyd is the RICO expert. He's really running the show. She doesn't know. She can't spell RICO. She has no idea what the hell she's doing. She's a political opportunist. Oh, yeah. See, what she wants is this. She wants that. Remember when she went to the White House? Remember when she supposedly went and met with, who was it? Carmelita Harris. Remember that one? Remember that? Remember when they went? And the Carmelita said, I don't know. And actually, Merch says, it's right there. It's right there. We got these White House lists. You went with the mayor of Atlanta, whatever you went to. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? She went there. You went there and you had help. You advised her, and you know the back room stuff. They've got people who are, look, there's a whole bunch of folks, maybe ex-DOJers, maybe experts who probably did more pro bono work than you would ever imagine. You know, framing the particular indictments, doing this stuff. Some of the cases. Remember this past week, Judge McAfee knocked out about 6 or so really stupid counts, claiming that members, that they somehow solicited, induced, cajoled, wheedled, aided, abetted, counsel, procured, hired, acted as some kind of a capacity of either as a principal or some type of an accomplice, but got members who were people who were themselves prosecutors or politicians, and had them violate their duty, their oath. How did they get them to violate it? Well, they just did. And what was the oath? Well, whatever. So McAfee knocks some out. It doesn't really matter. But here's the bottom line. Let's go back to who she is. And please get ready for the long haul, because I'm going to tell you this whole story. Who is this woman? She is somebody that somebody along the way says, you're it. You're going to be the golden girl, Fani. You're going to be the golden girl. Oh, yes. Judge Fani Willis. Judge Fani Willis. Judge, federal judge, Supreme Court judge, Circuit Court of Appeal, Governor Fani. You happen to have, and you may not know this, and you may not like this, and you may not care about this, but let me explain something to you. This case, out of all the cases available, is probably the most serious. You can laugh all you want. We're looking at 25 years, maybe, racketeering. And let me say something to you. You can laugh all you want. And I sure as hell have laughed. I sure as hell have laughed repeatedly. Oh, by the way, I must say this. If you're new to this, please subscribe. Got to subscribe. You got to like this. See, You know how this is. You've done YouTube long enough. Everybody always stops and says, "Hey, do you like this?" And you think, I just saw this for the first time. What the hell are you doing? Please like this. I don't know who you are. What am I going to like? Please subscribe. All right, already. But that's our lifeblood. Liking this is critical. And I'm not asking for a lot, just 9,000 likes. That's all. Okay, enough of that. I promise you I won't do that anymore because I hate that. I hate that. But you've got to say it. It's par for the course. And frankly, let's face it, you expected it. Okay. Well, here came Fani. Now, I don't know who the Judge Rule was who said, let's hit him with racketeering. Racketeering. Now, racketeering is basically this was the brainchild of a fellow named Robert Blakey. And in the old days of criminal mafia stuff, you'd have like a Carlo Gambino, a Tommy Lucchese, who've got a Vinny Chin, who said basically, I don't know who these people are. I don't talk to them. Plausible deniability. You have people who keep them away. Nobody's ever talked to Don Carlo. Nobody's ever met Gambino. How do I know the murders? I didn't, or you can't prove it. Makes sense, right? Conspiracy was really tough. Real conspiracies, not the usual conspiracy theory, but the conspiracy. Conspiracies, by the way, are two or more people in a criminal confederation, in an agreement. An agreement, separate and distinct from the thing we're trying to accomplish, is the agreement itself. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? The law hates the agreement. It's like the Catholic Church used to always say, it doesn't even matter whether you do the crime, if you wanted to do it, or do the sin. If you wanted to do it, that's all that counts. Really? Really? That's all that matters. Really? Really? Yep, that's it. Okay, well, maybe that's it. Bless your heart, by the way, Will, thank you so much. Most kind indeed. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'm not just saying that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, let's talk about some other stuff, which is really critical to note. Prosecution years ago was this thing called racketeering. Well, prior to 1970 or so, Robert Blakey from University of Notre Dame said, I've got an idea. Let's create something called a racketeering enterprise. And what the racketeering enterprise is simply this. Let's put together this group, okay? This organization, a racketeering enterprise. And you, by the way, will be guilty of being a member of this enterprise, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter who you are. Whether you're Carlo Gambino, whether you're some associate, some wannabe, or some captain or a skipper, doesn't really matter. It changed everything. So you first of all have to prove, is there a racketeering enterprise? Is there a criminal enterprise? And you show predicate acts. You show these acts. You show these preliminary behaviors, these criminal crimes, which if proved, prove the existence of this racketeering enterprise. Again, it makes no sense. But the idea is that it wasn't that Trump picked up the phone and said, hey, I need 1,708 votes or whatever it was. Does anybody here think that Trump actually said, let's want you to get these, I don't care who these people are. I want you to get them. I don't care if they're dead, kind of like the Democrats have done elsewhere. Just saying. There are also some ideas of fake electors. Okay, fine. If you can prove it, prove it. Good for you. Good for you. But the racketeering part, and it wasn't just Trump just doing this. No, this was a part of a very serious criminal conspiracy. Do you understand this? This is the most specious story in the world. And there are people who hate Trump, which is a lot of people, who said, racketeering? Yeah, okay, if you can make it work, but racketeering? This, you might have gone a little far here. You might have gone a little too far in this one. Okay, fine. Well, that was rolling along. Ashley Merchant, who, by the way, is the best lawyer I've seen in a long time. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you one of the best things that she has in terms of criminal law. She knows the facts perfectly. She knows the facts. She understands them. You have to know them. I don't care what, I swear to you, I don't care what the law is. Tell me the facts of the case. Do you really understand them? So, yeah, so somehow, and this is the best part. Now, hang on to this. This is still the best part of anything. Somehow, and I've never gotten this whole story, she gets a hold of this guy, Terrence Bradley. Okay? Remember this poor guy? Terrence Bradley looked like he was facing the death penalty or like a firing squad. Whenever you saw him, he had this look on his face of, oh my God, what am I doing here? So for some reason, and we have yet to figure out specifically what the reason, how this came about, but it doesn't matter. She somehow gets a hold of Terrence Bradley and she's writing him. She's texting him. Listen, this is pretty tough stuff. I'm going to be alleging a conflict of interest because I'm basically saying that she's having, a romantic relationship with, whatever. I mean, it's still, this is just, are you sure about this? Yes. Go ahead. Be brave. Yeah. But are you sure about this? Yes, I'm sure of this. Yes. Don't you understand? Be brave. He was the best moral support. Really? Yes. Now listen, I'm going to keep you out of this, but I'm going to try my best, not to bring you on board. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Do what you have to do. Okay. And go here. And he gave all of this information. Here comes, and this is what's critical. Here comes Fani. And all Fani had to do was simply this. Fani had to just say, look, Your Honor, Mr. Wade and I are having a relationship. We were having a relationship. We may or may not now, but we were. I hired him because we were having a relationship. He's not the greatest lawyer in the world, but I can pick anybody I want. It's my prerogative. I've got people working to me that you might say, well, why'd you pick him? Some might be relatives. Some might be friends. I got people answering the phone that were cousins. It might be a violation of some kind of local ordinance, but still, whatever. Bottom line is simply this. That's my decision, Judge, and there's nothing you can do about it. Do you know that there's nothing the judge could have done about it? Nothing. They could have said, Ms. Merchant, do you have any questions? Yeah, I have a question. Yeah. So you were basically having an affair. I was like, excuse me, Ms. Merchant. Yeah, I just told you I did this. Did you hear what I have to say? Did you hear what I said? I just told you. Do you get it? Do you understand what's going on here? Yeah. I just told you. Why are you asking me again? Oh. So what happened was you hired him and you hired him because, again, what are we doing here? I just told you this. I told you why I hired him. Okay, did you go on trips with him? I just told you who he was. What do you want? Yeah, we went on trips. We go back. Wait a minute. Are you suggesting that I hired him so that he could, wait a minute. Are you suggesting that I hired him, because he's my boyfriend, so that I could send him money his way? He could then use that money and wine and dine me? Which apparently, from what you'll know, I like to be wine and dine. Is that what you're saying? So I brought this case against Trump. Wait a minute. Where is a conflict of interest? Where is a conflict of interest? Well, he's your boyfriend. I just told you. And the judge will instruct you. I could be married to this guy. Ms. Merchant, you're married to your husband. Do you have a conflict of interest? No, I know you're the defense and I'm the prosecutor, but what difference does it make? What are you suggesting? Are you saying that we just stretch this thing like, hey, I keep saying, hey, Nathan, yeah, listen, I got an idea. I sure like those Napa trips. Don't you? Yeah. Those cruises. Yeah. And even though I'm worth over $8 million, and you're not exactly penniless, but still, I've got an idea. I'm going to bring a racketeering case against Trump, and it's going to go on forever. And I'm going to charge you or pay you. I know it's kind of piddly compared to what people can make, but I'm going to pay you, I don't know, $250 an hour, maybe, or whatever it is, to basically do nothing because you don't know anything about what you're doing. And we're going to continue this case and push it and stretch it out and add on multiple defendants to make it real complicated so that our wine trip to Napa can be, extended indefinitely by virtue of the monies that you have received as, I still don't know what the hell this is supposed to be. Okay. All of this would have been done. All of this would have been over had the queen of arrogance just said, look, this is what happened. But that's not what she did. Nope. That's not what she did. What she did was that she's going to lie. And she's going to sit back. And she's going to get that head thing. And again, it's like a Karen. She's going to basically say, I don't think you know who I am. I'm Fani Willis. And this is a lie, and you're a lie, and I've never in my life, never, in 41, actually my 42nd year being a lawyer, I've never seen this. I've seen I've seen some defendants there, but I've never seen a lawyer in a court. And I've never seen a lawyer, a judge, who I'm sure he's a great guy, come across with this expression of, I have no balls. You are not, I don't scare anyone. No, I intimidate no one. No one's afraid of me. I have not done anything to even make you think for a moment that I could cut you at the knees. Sometimes the best judges that people really, really, really appreciate are the ones who are tough. Remember Judge Ito? How you thought, when this guy? When you haven't lived until some judge stops and says, let me tell you something. I'm going to warn you one time, Ms. Willis. You may not have respect for me. You may not have respect for these proceedings or any of the co-counsel, but you will have respect for this court. And if you ever use the word lie, if ever you wave of filings, throw them down. And if I ever see you sit in my court rocking back and forth with that smirk, and is that gum? Is that gum you're chewing? Mr. Wade, are you chewing gum? I don't care if it's Nicorette. I don't care. I don't know where you, I don't know where you're from. I don't know how you were raised or what your child support, what am I trying to say? But your sense of abject contempt. You seem to hate this. You seem and Ms. Willis, do you know what the rule of sequestration is? By the way, this is critical. The rule of sequestration is this wonderful piece that says whenever you have a case, whenever you have a trial that's about to start, we used to say invoke the rule. Your Honor, we invoke the rule. Somebody's got to do it, and that means all right. Everybody who's about to testify, go outside. Do not discuss this. Do not talk about your case. Do not talk about what you're going to say. Just go outside. Go outside. But please do not in any way talk about this. When you're called and you come in, and we don't want you sitting back in your chair and saying, "Yeah, Judge," like he said. We want you to be able to come testify without having heard somebody else. Okay. And there was one particular time. I don't know where this happened. I have no idea why, but it seemed like as she testified as something, at least initially. And then when she was outside, I believe the rule of sequestration had been invoked. Her lawyers, this is the best. Anyway, her lawyers are arguing why she shouldn't testify, and she comes back in and says, I want to clear something up. You want to clear something up? Wait a minute. How do you know what needs to be cleared up if you were outside and you didn't hear anything? Did you violate the rule of sequestration? Did you already? We don't know. We have no idea. It gets better. This story, this is the best one. So did you, and here's the best part. I mentioned before, Ashley Merchant's so good because she knows the facts and she says, okay, well, I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go down this road. All right. Well, did you pay, Mr. Who paid for this? Oh, no. I reimbursed. You reimbursed, Nathan Wade? You did? You paid him back? Yeah, you did. Well, is that what you normally do? Why would you pay him back? Why would you think it's necessary? Now, this is where it makes no sense. There are rules about accepting gifts, but not in the context of a relationship. It doesn't make any sense. And this is even before John Clifford Floyd. Remember her father? Remember him, John Clifford Floyd? He was terrific. Mower Man says, late to the party, work getting in the way again. I know, I told you to quit. What a crock this is. Fanny, be tender when you lie. You know how easy it is to perjure. Ooh, thank you so much. Barry Gibb. Obstruction, tampering mean nothing gone forward. What kind of show is this nonsense? You know, Mower Man, I thank you for that. You bring up a very, very good point. When Mower Man, double M, when she was testifying, and she came up with this nonsense story about, well, see, I pay cash. How many people do this? Come here. Hey, Nathan, come here. Yeah. How much you pay? Okay. How much for the tickets for that one? Mr. Wade, did you report these? What? Did you report this money? Report it? Why should I report it? She's reimbursing me. Yeah, but did you, Ms. Willis, did you go to an ATM? Oh, no. Did you write a check? I don't have checks. What? No, I have cash. You have cash? You're paying 13 foot, 15, how many thousands? Yeah, I got a cash. Yeah. How much is this? Come here. 10, hundreds? Yeah. Did you take a car? Here. Stick that for your services, for your troubles. This is like a brothel. It's like you're doing this. Okay, what about that? There was a wine trip. Yeah. Remember you spiffed the sommelier? Okay, got that. All right. He looks like a champ, doesn't he? It's this poor guy. He's emasculated by virtue of his dwindling and evanescent sexuality, by virtue of, God forbid, his particular prostrate, as some people say, malady. Then he's reimbursed. What is he, a cuckold? Is he? I mean, a cuckold. It's like a boy toy. The favorite line, I got to tell you this one. Sometimes during the course of this, somebody will come up with something that's really good. Somebody will say something. Somebody will have a very interesting, like a question, a fact, something that really connects you, where you say, you know, I believe this guy. I had a guy one time, it was one of the best witnesses. This guy was so good. And he never talked about anything at first about the crime, but he said, you know, I knew something was wrong because I walked in that morning and I said, doggone it, they left the coffee on. I've got this working. I always say, unplug the coffee machine. It was a convenience store. And I smelled that burned coffee. And you got to get the pot. Now, already I'm thinking, this guy's got the attention to detail. I believe him. When he tells me it's a Tuesday, I'm going to believe it's a Tuesday. This guy remembers everything. He remembers who was there, what was missing, the rain, the temperature. Sometimes witnesses just come across great. I love it was Yerke, I believe, who they said, yeah, he would come over to the Hapeville condo. This is still great. The Hapeville condo is where she was staying. And he goes, yeah, in fact, he had either a copy of or had his own garage door opener. See? So this guy shows up and he's driving on the road. All of a sudden, you hear that noise, that garage door opener. Oh, he must be around here. What? Lover boys in the neighborhood. Here we come. Yep, there's Nathan. Into it, close. It's like when Tommy was made in Goodfellas. Remember, they go into the thing. Garage door lover. I could see it right now. Another Bee Gees hit. Garage door lover. No Tell Lover, Chicago. Garage door lover. I love that. I remember, by the way, the story was terrific. Why'd you have the Hapeville? Well, was it your love nest? No. I was under a lot of threats. Well, with all these MAGA people and the criminals and the gang leaders and all this stuff. Oh yeah, I had that move. Wait a minute, excuse me. Your father. What about him? Your father, Mr. Floyd, John Clifford Floyd, civil rights lawyer. Remember him? Yeah. Well, he was staying at your house, right? Yeah. Well, weren't you worried about him? Huh? Weren't you worried about his safety? How do you know these MAGA January 6th lunatics might mistake him for you? Or what did you say? Oh, no, Papa, you're not staying there. You're going someplace else. I'm worth $8 million. Here you go. Here's some cash for you. I got loads of cash. Here. What do I want? A La Quinta, Motel 6? Here, go tell you what. Go to a Holiday Inn Express. Just get the hell out of here. But you're not going to stay at my home that I'm leaving because I'm under so much threats from Aryan Nation and MAGA lunatics, and who knows, a guy with the horns may show up. I have no idea. You got to get out of there. No, he stays behind. And then when they ask him later, why didn't you remember how COVID came up? He said, well, I'm afraid of COVID. And at one particular point, if I recall correctly, COVID really wasn't even here yet, but they knew it was coming. In any event, this story is thinking the most beautiful thing in the world is when Ashley Merch is thinking to herself, I cannot believe what's going on. I cannot believe. I was saying this morning, I used to work a wonderful friend of mine in the television biz. I was doing a presentation, and there was a room next to me, which I never really knew what this room was, but he was always in there. He never said anything. He was very quiet, and he was in this low seat. I still don't know what the hell he was doing. And so all of a sudden, as I'm talking, after I did my piece, all of a sudden his head pops up, scared the hell out of me because I didn't even know there was somebody in this room. And he looks at me and he says, can you believe this shit? And I said, that's the name of my show. And we'll say it just like you said it. I'll say it phonetically. Can you believe? BELEE, DIH, shit, SHIH. Can you believe this? Because that's what I'm thinking right now. And Ashley Merchant must have turned to her husband, and said, I can't believe this. What is she talking about? Oh, yeah, I keep cash. Oh, yeah, I don't have checks. Fanny, all you had to do was say, yeah, we went on the thing. He's a boyfriend. But no. She's going to keep lying. So they bring her father in. They bring in Floyd. Oh, no. You see, Judge, Judge, excuse me, Judge. This is, I don't want to sound racist. Now, I don't know about you, but if you see McAfee, this guy looks like his name should be Skippy. He said, racist? What are you going to say? Well, I don't want to appear racist. What the hell are you going to say? Well, Judge, see, one time when I was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, at Harvard, I'm not going to tell you why exactly, but I was at Harvard. I was at Harvard at the time. He said it before. And we were at a restaurant, and Fanny must have been, I don't know, 10 years old. She was a youngster. And we were at this place, and then Bill came, and it was less than $10, right around $10. And I gave him an American Express. They wouldn't take it. And then I gave him a Visa. They wouldn't take it. They even had traveler's checks. Judge, we had these things called traveler's checks. In the old, you probably don't know that we had traveler's checks. They wouldn't even take that. They wouldn't take anything. So luckily, I had $10. I go, first of all, you're going to pay an Amex with $10? All right, wait, what? Why wouldn't they take Amex? Do you know anybody who says you're racist? I'm not gonna take your money, your Amex. Over the discount fee. I mean, imagine that. You come here, give me that card. Let me show you. Oh, it took. Do you know anybody who what? I'm not going to take your visa either because there's no way that a black man, I guess he was saying, there's no way a black man would have an Amex card. Look, pay the tab. You can give anybody, by the way, time out a little bit, something you should know. Whenever you're at a restaurant and people sometimes will split checks, or you have a waiter or waitress who has multiple accounts, make sure when they give you your card back, that's your card. Don't put it in your pocket because you'll get somebody else's. It happens. Anyway, make sure you read your card. Make sure you do it. In any event. So this story is like, and the judge is thinking, what are you talking about? You were at a restaurant and they wouldn't accept your American Express. So I told my daughter then, you carry cash. You carry cash with you. Why are we going? Where did this case go? What do we? This is a motion to disqualify. What the hell is this man yammering about? What? No control of the courtroom. None. I had this one judge. He was the best. He would look over and say, anything else? That meant shut up. No, judge, that's about it. Good. Next witness. Anything else? And sometimes you'd have somebody who didn't know yeah, judge, I gotta, excuse me. Anything else? Oh, no. By the way, when you're in a courtroom, you can't lead a witness, but you can say this. Were you afraid? Yes. Did you understand the policeman at the time? No, I didn't. Your Honor, objection. What? He's nodding. He's what? He's nodding. I'm sorry, Judge. You can't do that. One time, and it was a nominal case, but I said, how would you describe this is terrible. How would you describe the way the defendant was there? Well, he was, driving, and the prosecutor wasn't paying attention, and the jury kind of laughed, and nobody caught it. I said, oh my God, I got to be careful because sometimes you can say these things. Another little anecdote. One time when I was a brand new prosecutor, I went up and it was my first case, and the rule of cross-examination is don't, except in the case of this. Remember, this was a motion hearing. This was there's no jury listening to this. So you can go nuts. You don't have to worry about contaminating a jury. So you can ask Fani anything you wanted within reason because there's no jury there. But when there's a jury, it's a different question. Anyway, so one time I was brand new, and you should never ask a question you really don't know the answer to. So I got up and I said, officer, one question. Did you say the light was yellow or whatever it was? He goes, yeah. And just then, I forgot what I was trying to say. I had no idea the trajectory of this brilliant questioning. And I said, that's what I thought you'd say. And I sat down. And the judge was like that. And the jury was. And the second chair, the experienced, whatever, he leans over and says, what did that mean? I said, I have no idea. I'll tell you later. Things happen in court you never knew. One time I had this, it was this case around Christmas time, and I'm prosecuting it, and I'm thinking to myself, why can't I not hear? It was a closing argument. Why can I not hear what the person is saying? I couldn't hear. And we were in this old courtroom. They put us in this old, not where we were, but this other one, because there were all these cases. They were trying to get them done before Christmas. And anyway, so I'm sitting there, and I can't hear what the guy's saying. So I'm looking up like this. And I said, I'm thinking to myself, it must be the way this is the God's honest truth. I said, this is, I love the way people sometimes will qualify. Oh, this is the truth. You haven't said that before. Why are you telling me this is the truth? You never said that before. Anyway, so I'm looking up like this, and I'm thinking to myself, I can't hear. I thought, it must be because of the way the old courtrooms, they had no idea. They didn't care about sound. They just cared about woodwork, like, the word. And there were these curves. Maybe that's where the sound goes. I thought, wow, what is that, mahogany? Look how beautiful. I never really noticed this. So as I looked over, the jury's like this. They're looking up. The defense lawyer, he says, and the problem. So I immediately look back down again, and any little thing that goes on, but with Fani Willis is a different story. Now, I'm jumping around because I'm not, but I'm going to get to it eventually. You know who's thrilled? Trump. Trump's thinking, this is terrific. This is terrific. Because I would have told Trump, well, we got to, by the way, he's got a good team. Alina Habba, bless her heart. I don't know anything about her, but she's too busy worrying about this is what I'm wearing. Here I am on Instagram. Here's my hair and makeup. I look hot, huh? Am I hot? Am I hot? Did you see Sadow do that? Trump's lawyer or Ashley Merchant? No. But Ashley Merchant has a future in if Fox News had a brain in their head, they'd hire her. I don't want to say anything, but I heard these 3 jadruls they had on in the morning. And one, I think, do you understand this case? Well, it seems to me that they're asking her, she's asking people whether they lied, when in fact she lied. I'm thinking, is this the best you can do? Who are these people? This is the way it is. This is the best. And I love Jonathan Turley a lot, but you got to wake him up sometimes. Jonathan, well, this poses a particularly interesting. Get to the point. What is it? Okay. So Trump's thinking to himself, what do I want? Ideally, Mr. Trump, President Trump, well, here's what you want. You want to embarrass her, destroy her political career, have her brought up for perjury, obstruction of justice. We'll get to that in a moment. Lying, violating every canon of professional responsibility there is, everyone. And she stays on the case because if you end up sending it to somebody else, because they have in Georgia, there's a prosecutor's commission or some agency that will reassign, almost like in the case of a recusal. So they go ahead and they send it to this new judge or this new prosecutor. Well, this new prosecutor may be terrific, worse than this one. Or you may say, this is a piece of dog crap and I'm going to dismiss it, which is highly unlikely. Or pare it down. And imagine all this. Yeah, Judge, yeah. Would you send this over to, there's 150. Thank you. Someone named Scott. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Can I have your bread? Now, what if he said, for example, now I'm gonna send this judge. By the way, it's 159 counties. Florida 67, New York is like 63, right? 159. Yeah, Judge. Yeah, would you mind? Could we send this over way over the other side of the state? Some real tiny judicial, some county, some podunk, bug tussle, Hooterville. Have this guy, I got what? Because you can't turn this case down. Yeah, Jethro. Yeah, they did this. By the way, the guy's name is Scott McAfee. Scott. Okay. I don't want to go. When I think of McAfee, I think of that great McAfee, the one who was, iced. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, but Scott, or as a friend of mine's mother would say, Scott. I said, how do you spell that? But I digress. Now imagine this. You got this case and you're going to, well, yeah. Oh, by the way, all you folks in Fani's office, you got to go to Hooterville County to try this case. What? Yeah, all the investigators, all the cases, what? Okay, so the best thing for Trump is good news is she's staying on. The better news is, or the bad news is that Nathan, good name by the way, Nathan Wade is staying on. Nathan's staying on, but not. He's in the office, but not in the case. What difference does it make? Nothing. That's why this McAfee is like, are you kidding me? Do you really think that? Do you really? Seriously, do you think this corrects anything? How many here? Raise a hand. Yes for one for yes, two for no. Do you think this makes any difference? That this guy, Nathan, is still on the case? Or not on the case? He's not on the case? Doesn't matter. He wasn't doing anything anyway. Okay, that clears that. What? Excuse me, Judge McAfee, we just proved that this lying, conniving, this queen of arrogance, this self-entitled not a meretrix, but a virago, a harpy, a shrew, a malkin, grimalkin, a virago, a termagant, okay? This one, she said, and you, Judge, you mean to tell me that you're, and I would love this, because I'd say, listen, we got balls of the wall, because Scott McAfee doesn't have a set. You say, so Judge, you're telling me you think this is, after all we've been through, this is the Solomon-esque, or as Jonathan Turley calls it, Solemn-esque? Maybe he meant Salome. In any event, I don't know. But this is the Solomon-esque decision? What are you kidding me? Getting rid of, he's still going to work there. Maybe you should have him move. Okay. I mean, this is nuts. You're President Trump, good for you. This is the best news you have. The best. This is terrific. And Fani's going to be there. Now, do you think, can you imagine this? Now, I know I'm not a very religious person. I'm not religious at all. I believe in logic and goodness. But if the good Lord wants to from this moment on, inspire the greatest apostle ever, I ask one thing, sir or madam or they. I don't know what the pronoun for God is, but could you please be so kind as to create the following for me? This is my wish. Trump takes the stand, which is absurd. Not in a criminal case. No. But please, I'm asking a miracle. Trump takes the stand, and Fani is the prosecutor. Fani cross-examines Trump. Stop for a second. This is when I would call in the FBI the profilers. This is when I call in John Douglas. Bring him in. And they're going to say, what's going to drive her crazy? First thing is, anything you do to question her authority or her legitimacy, she'll go berserk. Anything. Give her back what she gives to other people. She'll go crazy. She'll melt right before you. She won't know what to do. She'll melt. Do you hear what I'm saying? She'll melt. So imagine this. Your Honor, the defense calls President Donald John Trump. He walks in like this. And imagine, there's Fani. It's a small courtroom. And Fani, he looks at her and says, she'll lose it. And you raise your hand. Now, here's the best one. Whenever they say, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, help me God? Don't ever say, I do. Don't ever do that. And there's no Bible. You look at the jury. And by the way, most of the time, jurors have been sworn, but it doesn't matter. You look at the jury and you say, absolutely. I'm telling you, I'm swearing to you. Just that. Now, the court reporter's not going to pick this up. Fani's going to go berserk. She's going to go berserk. Go berserk. And you got to tell President Trump, listen, don't be contemptuous. Don't be contumacious. Don't show contumacy. That was good too. Ms. Willis, I'm sorry. Is that you? What? Did you do that? I didn't do that. Well, I sure as hell did. Your Honor, please. Show some respect for the court. Anyway, so as she does it, you sit there and you say, Fani, excuse me, that's it. I'm sorry. It's Fani. Oh, I'm sorry, Fani. It's not Fani, it's Ms. Willis. Anything else? Anything else? Well, it's President Trump. Once a president, always a president. I expect you to call me President Trump. Fani, right off the bat. This is great. And the jury's going to say, I love this. I love this. Because the jury will have absolutely hated her. Because of their arrogance. And she's so stupid, she's going to get every bit of TV time there is. Say what you want about Letitia James. Letitia James comports herself perfectly. She sits in the courtroom during the Trump case. She's the Attorney General of New York. And the case with Judge Engoron, where they're saying Trump has to disgorge, $1 billion of real estate. But Tish James, she sits, she's there, but she's not, she's there, but she's not acting like in any event, I say this. So she's there. She'll go crazy. Now let's go through some of that character, shall we? This is the best part. Now we have, as you know, this case going on right now. You have a Senate hearing that was going on concomitantly with Ashley Merchant, who at the time was testifying as to what she saw and what she was a part of and what she had gone through. And they're basically going through. I remember this. There was a fellow. Oh, what was it? He was I think the minority whip. What was his name? Oh, he was good. The minority whip. I wrote his name down. He was. I don't remember this guy. He was asking questions that were so bizarre. It had nothing to do with this. Oh, by the way, little memory lane. Remember the name Emily Kors? Remember her? Anybody? Of course not. Remember how long this case? Emily Kors? There are people whose names you don't remember who are so the most incredibly interesting people. Emily Kors was the 30-year-old four-person, I believe, or the grand jury, who was part of the special grand jury. Do you remember her, the talkative Trump? The four-person. Remember, she was 30 years old, and she was on CNN, and even the lefties couldn't stand her. They said, "And do you think people will be indicted?" "Oh, I most certainly do. Yes. And they, what the hell is this? Remember her? Emily Kors. She was fantastic. I thought, this is beautiful. This is great. Let me tell you another name, too. I always want to make sure I want to get this one right. This is so interesting. Do you remember a woman? Her name was, her name was Jessica Starr. Now, Jessica Starr was this a TV anchor who I believe committed suicide, very sad. That's not who the Jessica Starr I'm talking about. Jessica Starr, do you remember who she was? Jessica Starr was the most famous fixture. She was second only to the Tiananmen Square dude. Remember that with the takeout in front of the tanks? We don't know who he was, if you believe that story. Just saying. Jessica Starr, you know who she was? You know who she was? Jessica Starr was the famous woman wearing green, I believe. She was outside. It was during the inauguration. She had almost like a green, and she did the no. Remember her? Famous. She was the first Karen. She was the most important person ever. She gave rise to this phenomenon of people sitting in their cars screaming. Do you remember this? Probably not. I chronicle this. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this. Right after Trump was inaugurated or he came about or won, people went berserk. It started with Rachel Maddow, who said, no, you're not dreaming. No, It's happening. Oh, yeah. And I'd say, play it again. It was like porn, political porn. Play it again. Play that and the no lady together. Remember that? No. She became, and nobody ever picked up on it. She could have been the most famous. She could have, copyrighted. No, I don't know if you can do that. But anyway, Emily Kors was the first one who said, this case is coming up. This is out of control. This is happening. Now, let's go through some of these other stories. Let's talk about Terrence Bradley. Terrence Bradley was still the best person ever. Terrence Bradley was a guy who, now think about this. This is a fellow who worked for, you talk about incestuous? How about this one? Nobody's talking about this one. I mean, you got to get him off the case. There was a fellow by the name of, let me see. His name is, where we go? Oh, here we go. There was a fellow named Chris Campbell. Who was Chris Campbell? Chris Campbell was subpoenaed by Merchant to testify. Chris Campbell was a partner in the now, I think, defunct firm of Wade and Campbell. Nathan Wade and Campbell. Right? He received about $126,000 from Fani, according to county records, and he was a taint attorney. He would review privilege, evidence, privilege communications. He got about $150 an hour. Now he was another beneficiary of this. Worked with Nathan. Later on, received some sinecure, if you will, from her. Okay, so that's that. You got this other guy working there, Terrence Bradley. Now, Terrence Bradley was a dream come true. Terrence Bradley was my absolute favorite. Terrence Bradley reminds me of a true story. When you saw Terrence Bradley, you never could figure out who is he testifying for exactly. Side story: we had a guy named Dr. Well was his nickname. And we would have competency hearings, and the county at the time did not spend. They didn't hire the best level of the best caliber of psychiatrists to testify as far as competency. I mean, I think some of these people thought they were veterinarians. They didn't know anything, but this guy was so good. He was a Cuban by nationality. English wasn't the best, which is also a real plus when you're cross-examining. When your cross-examination starts off with what? Anyway, so they say, well, doctor, did you form an opinion as to whether the defendant was competent? Well, did you form an opinion whether he was incompetent? Well, did you form an opinion? Are you able to say today? Well, okay, you're a witness. Next one. Well, doctor, are you saying that my client is able to be released? Well, or is he not? And I'm saying, who hired this guy? We called him Dr. Well. What is he doing? What? They loved him. Well, that's Terrence. Terrence there is, why are you there? Terrence goes in and he's telling this Ashley Merchant, you put me on this thing. You put me on that thing, and I'm gonna bury this guy. Now, I don't know what his beef was. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. But there he is, and he's doing his stuff, and he's testifying. Okay. Now she says, and I'll bet you anything, that at that time, Ashley Merchant went to her friends, co-counsel, and said, I got him. Because remember, I'm going to say this a million times. Fani Willis could have avoided all this had she said, yes, he's my boyfriend. And we're, yeah. That was it. There's nothing to discuss other than that. It's all done. But she didn't. She decided to lie. All right. So as we're doing this, they call him. And there's Ashley. Ashley says, there's my boy. There he is. There's my. Watch this. And he comes in, a poor guy. He looks, his suit doesn't fit right. He looks like he's just, Remember one day he just didn't show up. This is when I knew Judge McAfee had no nads whatsoever. He said, "Well, where's Mr. Bradley?" Well, he had a doctorate. He didn't call. Wait a minute. He had a doctorate. Wait a minute. He better be in ICU. He better be in critical condition. He was subpoenaed to be here. What? Same thing with the same thing with Fani. She didn't show up. She shows up. She doesn't show up. Again, I don't know. In the biggest case, and the best part too is, little tangential note here. Judge McAfee, he's looking to better himself, and he's got to say, listen, I've got to do everything in my power to help Trump. All right, I'm a Republican. Hello, I'm a Republican. Kemp, kind of a never Trumper, but still appointed me. I want to go elsewhere. These Democratic, woke judge rules, they're not going to be in power for a while. When our time comes, I want to do the right thing. So consequently, this may have resuscitated his image before the Republicans. Because let's face it, if he wants any kind of shot at, governor or judge or whatever, he's got to, anyway. So he did that. So here comes Bradley. Takes a stand, and you can see in Ashley's face, hey, Mr. Bradley, state your name for the record. Is that your name? Was that a sound? What is it? What's the matter with it? Who are you? Terry, it's me. Terry, it's Ashley. What? Did you say that this commenced? Can you say that this relationship? Can you say that this relationship was actually there before, that they were already a couple before Mr. Wade was hired? Can you? Remember, Willis and Wade both testified under oath they weren't romantic until 2022. Do you remember this? Yes. Do you remember this? Yes. Well, now's the time. What do you have to say for yourself? Well, wait a minute, Dr. Well, what? Well, wait a minute. Did you say, and by the way, can I see here's a screenshot. This is you right here. Is that you? Well, is your number 41? Yes, that's you. This is me and you. See, when you say, yes, Ashley, yes. And I said, hey, Jared, yeah, well, remember that we're somehow miraculously two people, not being you, are talking to each other about the subject. Interesting, as we have before, many, many times. Well, I was speculating. And remember, he sat there like this. He kind of did one of these. Oh, this thing's frozen. He did one of these kind of he was kind of, he was like sending Morse code, help me, get me out of here. Call the Marines. Get me. I don't know what I'm doing here. Help me. For the love of God, help me. Then he never looked up. He never looked up. He just said, he would like do this. And it was like a kid. Sometimes when you see a kid, and did daddy ever hit you? Well, the kid's drawing. He looked like it was the, thank God there was no jury there. The judge is thinking, this is your witness. Now, actually, there's strict rules and evidence about you can't impeach your own witness. It's called the voucher rule, because you vouch for their credibility, and you can't impeach them unless they go hostile or average, whatever. But this isn't, we're not at that stage yet. You don't want your lawyer, your witness to fall apart. So say, Mr. Bradley, what's going on here? Terry, it's me. Why don't I speculate? You speculated with me before. You told me, you said this. You even told me where to go. You even told me dates and do this and ask about Napa or whatever the hell it was. He gave some specific things. What happened to you? Now, when this is the best part. Now, this is really good. This should be law school, evidence class stuff. At the course of this, it turns out that Terrence Bradley, you got me doing the Wade thing, Bradley. Apparently, Nathan said, look, I'm in this divorce. I'm going to write up the pleadings. You just sign them. Okay. It's done. It's not that, especially if it's kind of pro forma. So, Mr. Bradley, were you Mr. Wade's lawyer? Well, not really. Objection. Privileged. And you could tell Wade, Bradley was like, yeah, privilege. It's privileged. So I can't talk about this. You've been talking to me before. I know, but it's privileged. It was privileged then. What the hell happened? I don't know, but I call it the bar association. A lot of bar associations, they have these ethics lines where you can call up and you can ask if you have a question. Did you? If you have a particular ethical question, you can ask. And he's explaining, I'm Mr. Ethics. Ethics are I live for the ethical. I will not in any way violate the code of ethics. Oh my God. Because here is the thing. If you go to a lawyer and you say something during the course of your communication, something that was intended to be secret, intended to be confidential, and made in a position, made in a state, made in a way where there was a reasonable expectation of privacy, because you can't be at a party and say, that's right, so I killed her, and the police don't know that, and you're at a party, and no, that doesn't qualify, because the statement was not made where there was a reasonable expectation of privacy, where you did not guard the confidential nature of this. Same thing goes for a clergyman penitent. You speak to a priest, psychotherapist, patient. And by the way, kids, little time out here. How many of you folks believe there's a doctor-patient privilege? Now, when I mean doctor-patient privilege, I mean in court, not some ethical, standard that could get somebody to lose their license. But let's say if you went to a doctor and you say, yeah, I got a deviated septum. Well, the coke I do coke all the time. And, my shoulder was acting up. Why? Well, from the armed robbery. Yeah, I got shot last week. It was a robbery. They didn't find out it was me, but got shot. A couple of cops shot me, and I got that. And I went on. Okay, now what you just told. Let's say you told your physician in the treatment room, and there's nobody else around. Is that privileged? If you walk into court and there's your doctor, and you say you're not going to say anything. Well, guess what? In some jurisdictions, there may not be a physician-patient privilege. There might be a psychotherapist patient privilege. There might be a sex counselor patient. There may be an accountant client privilege. There may be husband and wife. I could do a whole a day on that one. So just keep that in mind when you go and you tell your doctor all kinds of stuff. Think about that. What you tell your doctor. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'll leave it at that. So anyway, so all of a sudden they're going crazy, and so then the judge said, well, let me do an in-camera hearing, meaning in chambers. Let me do this outside of let me talk to Mr. Brown. And he said, no, you're going to have to answer the question. Damn. So here's the story. Anna Cross gets up there. You know who Anna Cross is? Remember her? Anna Cross is a lawyer representing the DA's office. This is Anna Cross. Now, let me ask you something. She represented the DA. What do you think? What's the best way for them to handle this case? What do they want Bradley to do? They like him just to go away, because Bradley doesn't really necessarily speak to the existence of a relationship. Bradley speaks to the existence of perjury. That's the story. That's the story. You hear what I'm saying? That's the story. So anyway, so basically I would say, no questions. Let me just tell you something right now. Please, if you remember something, rule of cross-examination, don't do it. Why? It's their witness. Why are you cross-examining their witness? They're not going to say anything. Why are you cross-examining the witness for the other side? You do direct examination of your witness, cross-examination of the opposing guy. Why? They're not saying anything unless they're so bad or they say something so stupid and you want to get it on the record. Normally, they're not going to say anything to help you. I've seen this a million times. Why they do this? Prosecutor gets up and says, so, Mr. Bradley, so you say that my client's lying, huh? I said, why are you doing this? Why are you repeating what they did? No, and it's not good. So you got to ask yourself, what is the purpose of asking the question? Well, Anna Cross represents a DA. So she says, so, Mr. Bradley, you had to leave that office, didn't you? What? You had to leave that office, didn't you? The Wade, yeah. You had to leave that office because of allegations of sexual abuse against you, right? Well, I don't know if you're supposed to know that. Well, we know about that, okay? So you left, huh? You left because you're a, you're a demented, depraved, sexual assaulter. No, you paid somebody $20,000, didn't you? Well, maybe I did. Well, I paid it from the. And when I heard this, I couldn't believe it. From the trust account. From the what? Well, I left a bunch of trust accounts here. Oh my God! Did you just say what I think you said? Yeah. Oh my God! A trust account. That's the thing that is just leave this alone. This is where you're closing on a house. The mortgage company gives you, $1 million. You put it in your trust account, and then later on, when it's time to pay, you disperse, and it's golden. It's not your money. It's an escrow account. It's not yours. Can't go commingle fund. It's not yours. You got it? It's not yours. Okay. And this guy's saying, I left money in there, so we paid them out from money. So now he's going to have, they're going to be doing audits. And I mean, it's going to be a nightmare. Both him and Wade and Campbell. Remember, all of this could have been avoided if Fani Willis had just said, yeah, I had a relationship and that's it. Didn't do that. She didn't do that. So right now, ding. Now you've got Bradley saying, I settled money for, ding, a sexual battery case from, ding, the escrow accounts, which I left behind, ding. So it's like, what? Now, Anna Cross, why did you bring up this sexual stuff? He's your witness. First you tell, now follow me on this. First, Anna Cross tells you that he's a very important, he's obviously telling the truth because we want to have his testimony withheld or not disclosed because it's privileged. Because what he's saying is true. If it was crazy talk, if it wasn't true, he would say, I don't care. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened. They're saying we want this suppressed. We want this, we don't want his testimony because what he's saying, well, because it's true. Then they turn around and say, well, he's unreasonable. I mean, he's unreliable because he's a sexual batterer. And say, well, which one is it? Do you want him to testify or don't you? Now he's beaten up to the point he doesn't even know what's going on anymore. Ashley's pissed off at him because he said, you came into court and you basically sandbagged me. You Pearl Harbored me. You came out of nowhere. You sandbagged me. Then he turns to Wade, his old buddy, and he says, I don't, why are you doing this to me? You turned on me. Ashley's pissed. Anna Cross is coming at him. Fani can't stand him. Nobody likes him. Where's he going to work? He's done. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. This is the best part. Cindy Lee Yeager. Remember this one? This is great. Cindy Lee Yeager is the DA. No, strike that. She is the co-deputy DA in Cobb County. A fellow DA. fellow. She's an ADA. She's not the district attorney, but she's the assistant, but she's the chief, the co-chief district attorney or deputy district attorney. All right. Now, first of all, here's the story. I heard something the other day and I thought to myself, I want to bring something to your attention because either I forgot about it or I want you to know about it, whatever it is. Terrence Bradley was in my office. Wait a minute. What? He's in your office? Why is he in your office? And Ashley's thinking, wait a minute, he's talking to me. I'm defense counsel. Now he's in the office. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he had a case. He's talking to her. When all of a sudden, lo and behold, he gets a call and she overhears it. Did you hear this? She overhears this call. Now, this is when my ears went berserk. And this is when I said, oh boy, now it really, really changed. So what happened was she gets this call, supposedly. And she gets this call and it says, here we go. Quote, they are coming after us. You don't need to talk to them about anything about us. This is Fani warning Bradley in a September 2023 phone call. Let me say this again. They are coming after us. Us? You don't need to talk to them about anything about us. Now, let me ask you something. First of all, it's a very strange thing. The context of that theoretically was there was the media, if I recall correctly, were doing a story about Fani and Wade, and did they work together or whatever? So anyway, but imagine you're look at this guy. You think he's got any guts? Look at Bradley. Look at the way his body language. He looks scared. His testimony. I've seen hostage videos that were more endearing and more positive and more. So he's there, and all of a sudden they're hearing this stuff. They're after us. You don't need to tell them anything. How many of you find people think that could be construed as a threat? How many? From the DA calling him? And I don't know if she knew that he was anybody's witness, but can you see this? Oh my God, there are people who are in prison who don't even say anything even nearly as it can be construed as. First of all, there are people who he might be somebody's witness. You stay away from them. But this is the DA. You don't need to talk to them. Now, she could say, I never said not to talk to the authorities. I never said not to talk to the police. I said, you don't have to talk to the press. Now he's thinking, oh God, now what do I do? But it gets better. It gets even better. It gets better. Then there's this feller, and his name is Gabe Banks. And Gabe Banks is Atlanta-based attorney, whose wife happens to be working for the DA's office. So he calls Bradley. He represents Chris Campbell. He calls Bradley out of the blue the weekend after the motion was filed with all this stuff and says, are you the leak? Are you the leak? Then Wade, the day after Banks called, Nathan calls up Bradley and says his best buddy to remind him. Now, let me remind you of the attorney-client crime privilege. Understand that? Do you get what's going on here? I mean, this is unbelievable. So, let's get this going. Let's stop for a second. And this is the most important thing in the world. What would happen if Fani Willis were a Republican? What if this was to get Trump, but in a different way. Let's say Trump was somehow bringing this action. Let's say this was a prosecutor friendly or perceived as being friendly to Trump, or Kump as I call him. Kai Coffee, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it immensely. Thank you, Kai. Thank you. Thank you. First of all, there's something called the 65 Project. The 65 Project is a group of lawyers and, quote, bipartisan, who any lawyer who dares to go after, who dares to support, who dares to do anything to challenge the 2020 election, they'll go after your bar license, they will file complaints, and they will make your life a living hell. Okay? That's the way they do it. There's no version of this. That's number one. Number two, if Fani Willis, let's say, were a Republican, she would be visited by the FBI immediately. They would be looking at whether her statements made could be construed as obstruction of justice and witness tampering. Next, you would have seen a more forceful action. And what you're seeing right now is with Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan and his House Judiciary Oversight, whatever committee, have subpoenaed records because there was a woman a while back. There was a co-worker or somebody in the office, since I think left, who said something like, hey, Fani, you better worry about such and such because you know that federal money that we got for kids or youth or whatever it was. So-and-so in the office said, this is a good time for us to get swag. We're going to get the swag. And we're gonna, you know what I mean? We can buy Macs and we can do all this stuff by basically redirecting this money that would normally be associated and build this way to the swag. We get the swag. See, yeah, that's it. And so Jim Jordan wants to know, where is this money going? Where can you account for it? This is what basically Fani said. Basically, and I paraphrase, none of your goddamn business. I think they sent some screenshots of something and a letter from the Department of Justice, somebody saying, congratulations, you did a great job in this program. And Jim Jordan is saying, oh, no, that's not working. That's not going to work. No, doesn't work like that. Sorry. Thank you very much. And I'm sure you have a lot of reasons to be proud. But please, and by the way, if you've just tuned in, I ask you, my friends, I'm somewhat going back on my promise, ask you to subscribe. Subscriptions are, well, and sometimes, I know this is weird, and I'm not pointing any figures, but sometimes some people have said, you know, I was subscribed and I've been unsubscribed. I'm not saying, I don't know. I don't know. But it's critical, and your likes, of course, are critical as well. It's our lifeblood, liking this. And I told you I need 9,000 likes, or else something will happen to the dog. Remember the National Lampoon? Anyway. Now, let me tell you what's going on here. Let me say, this dumbass, okay? I think it's what you call her, a dumbass. She figures like, first of all, I don't even have any counsel. I don't have to talk to anybody. I'm going to send Jim Jordan, who wants something. Going after Fani Willis would be like, thank you. You think she would say, I want everybody in my office to deal with it. Maybe I'll get outside counsel. Maybe I'll hire a law firm. I don't know. But I want to make sure that every single thing that they want is, and hire a nice Republican or a Democrat, anybody. I don't give a damn who, a Republican. Just do so. Help me. But no. She says, here's a couple of screenshots. I don't know about you. But if I ask you or a client, can you send me a copy or PDF of that? And I get this crumpled up thing with a phone on a flowery upholstery, I want to scream. What is this? What is this? Well, that's all I got. I got a screen. So that's where she is right now. So she's doing that. So there are ethics complaints going on against her. You've got the House is against her. They're looking at what's going on. And they don't have any balls either. They'll stop. They don't go for the throat. They're not ruthless. They have no killer instinct. Nothing. You also have this Georgia Senate committee going after her as well. But if this were the other way around, the FBI would be all over her, all over her. Now, what happens in the long run? As of today, the state, the prosecution continues. Nathan has to step down as special prosecutor. I guess he's still maybe with he could still get his money, just not her special prosecutor. On this case, it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. The best thing that ever happened to Trump. Best thing that happened to the Democrats. She got what she wanted, and you throw him under the bus. You basically sacrifice Nathan for no particular reason because he was nothing. But it's not even an answer. That's your excuse. Now remember, there's three things that they could go after. Number one, conflict of interest. Number two, forensic fraud or corruption or something where you actually involve yourself in it. The statements that she made before this famous AME or African American church was, she wrote them before. She didn't specifically do anything to mention Trump per se, but what they did, which is the most important thing, what they did was she basically she gave they're going after a proud black woman speech. Steph Cam, thank you immensely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But she did they're going after a proud black woman. This is nothing against playing the race card. Playing the race card. Now let me explain something to you. New paragraph, new whatever it is. Let me talk to you about the psyche. The number one most, and I'm going to devote a significant amount of my time to this, because the most fascinating person I have ever seen, ever in current politics. Growing up as a kid in Florida, we had a guy named Jim Fair, who was the supervisor of elections, who was out of his mind. Fascinating. Really out of his mind. Had a dog that bit people, and it was wonderful. But number one is not Fani Willis, but the mayor of Fulton, Illinois. This is Tiffany Henyard. Now, we're not going to talk about her, but Tiffany Henyard is unbelievable, okay? And Tiffany Henyard is the mayor of Fulton, Illinois. She's also on I believe she's the town supervisor. And let me just say something right now. This is why I love this. Tiffany Henyard, do yourself a favor. If you're feeling kind of bad, if you think like, my life sucks, I'm feeling bad today, I'm feeling depressed, I don't want to drink, but I'm thinking about taking a drink, thinking about taking drugs, I'm thinking about doing, I really need something to change my way of thinking. I'm in a very dark place right now. Watch any video of Tiffany Henyard, please. You will be you will laugh and cry, and you will be, what? This is going on. This is going on before our eyes, because my friends, we are living in a world of lunacy. So Tiffany Henyard, number one. Number two is Fani Willis. Number two. Do you remember A Few Good Men? Remember that? Not you personally, but A Few Good Men. Remember Colonel Jessup? You can't handle the truth. Remember that? Here was his problem. He did not understand the jurisdiction of this court. He thought, first of all, I've been in war. I'm a warrior. I'm a Marine. I don't know what this dog and pony thing is. I don't respect you in your course. I don't have to answer. I don't even know what perjury is. Okay, so I lied. I'm Nathan, whatever, Jessup or whatever. What was it? What's his name? Nathan. And again, am I recalling that correctly? See what I'm doing? I'm always looking stuff up. Yes, he was Nathan. Yep, Colonel Nathan R. Jessup. Remember that one? Nathan. It's a good name. Nathan Jones. One of the best songs that Nicolette Larson ever did. Nathan Jones had been gone too long. Supremes did it first. Anyway. Watch her. But Nathan Jessup did not understand what this is. Fani Willis is entitled. Have you met entitled? Have you ever met this? Do you know anybody? I learn a lot from YouTube. I really do. And I enjoy, there's some things that we enjoy. We have one of our members here who likes to watch Russian airplane disasters. I don't even know where you get those, but it's a weird kind of like, forget crush videos. Show her a plane disaster. And what I like to do is, and I find this fascinating, people who were pulled over by the police, and the policeman says, "Hi, I'm from the Palatka Police Department. Yeah, did you your tag, some mealy mouth, like a nice little cop gun. Your tag has a little light. It's no big deal. Would you just get this? You got 10 days to get this fixed. And would you sign this ticket? You're not admitting guilt. Would you sign this ticket? And you okay? And the person was like, "Get your hands off me! F you! Out of my right! Get!" And then he swings at him. And then now that's battering a Leo, battering a law enforcement officer, obstruction of justice, and she ends up doing 30 years in prison. Because she has no idea that, no, you don't understand something. This is the policeman, and you can beat the rat, but you can't beat the ride. This is his court. He can make your life miserable. You may not like him. You may not care for him, but you have no say in this. You entitled little shit, okay? You understand this? You can't do this. That's Fani Willis. Fani Willis says, you don't understand who I am. I'm Fani Willis. Tiffany Henyard, trust me, super mayor, you can't believe you cannot believe why she has not been immediately hospitalized against her will for being a lunatic. I have no idea. She doesn't understand this. How many of you have children? How many of you have children? Spooky, do you have children? The Self, do you have children? Anybody have children? Steve Williamson, you have children? If they're young enough, and I don't care how old they are, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to say, you know what this woman's problem is? She didn't tell the truth. She didn't tell the truth. Let me tell you a true story. Years ago, I had a friend of mine, real horse's ass. Never knew what to say. I love him. He's like a brother to me, but and he was driving my car at the time. And we got pulled over in Pinellas County. And he said, I'm going to take care of it. I said, oh no, we're done. I said, I'm serious, we're done. He's going to say something stupid because he did something I'll never forget. He gets out of the car. He says, officer, and I'm going to paraphrase. I want to apologize. Yes, license and registration. I am sorry, sir. You were speeding. You are absolutely correct, sir. Absolutely. No defense. 100%. Yes, sir. I am wrong. And the cop said, no, look, let me go. No. You're right. Here you are out doing a duty and you're stopping me for this stupid. You are right, sir. I apologize to you, sir. You are 100% correct. This cop has never heard this in his life. Never. We didn't get a ticket, nothing. I think he gave me something, $20, here's something for your troubles. And that's it. I'll never understand. This is what happens because when people start lying, they get into trouble. They lie. That's Fani Willis. She lies. She has this idea that you don't know. I'm better. I don't need your stinking rules. I don't need your stinking badges. I don't need this. I'm Fani Willis. Screw you. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm that Karen. I'm that person who says, you can't pull me over. I know my right. I don't want to hear about this. Jim Jordan sent her a subpoena. She sent her a screenshot. Here, do me a favor. Take this in your subpoena and shove it up your ass. That's what she's saying. You got that, Jordan? I don't have time for this. I'm Fani Willis. Oh, that's Colonel Jessup. I'm a Marine. I'm fighting. I don't need this. How dare you ask me? They don't understand it. And we are creating more and more and more and more entitled people like this. And I want you to tell your kids, this is what happens when you lie. This is what happens when you lie. I had a friend years ago. He was a bad alcoholic, but and his wife said, you are an alcoholic. He said, you're right. And I'm going to Al-Anon. Okay. And I want you to go with me. He says, okay. And he went, and they told him something like, you have to admit you're a drinking problem. He says, I have a drinking problem. You have to admit you're an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic. There, I said it. Are you going to stop? He said, no. But I admit it. And I told myself, that's not what they meant. They meant for you to, but the point is, he's not going to lie. He's not lying. He's not lying. When you lie over stupid things, what are you doing? Especially when you lie and you make it worse. There was nothing that she did that would have had any of this attention. As she just said, yeah, I'm having it. It's when she lied. Now, what's going to happen? In a real world, this case is a piece of dog crap. Everybody knows this. Nobody in the Georgia Democratic world is high-fiving each other. They just realized this is horrible. This woman is so tainted, so contaminated by this horror. There's nothing that we're ever going to be able to do to get us out of it. Trump is going to be victorious over this. She doesn't have the wherewithal. She doesn't have the stamina. She doesn't have this is a dog case. Another thing too is when you're a small office and you're taking on 15, 18, 19 defendants. And by the way, how do you think Jenna Ellis feels right now? And how about Sidney Powell, who bailed from this, who pled to whatever it was that they did? Hell, stay in here. Stay in here. Don't leave. This also has an effect of contaminating the entire notion, the entire specter of this witch hunt against Trump. Absolutely, positively. Okay. Ultimately, he will benefit with this one. This thing is going nowhere. It will disintegrate. It will disintegrate. And at this point, they're going to say, we're going full speed ahead. Now, did the judge do the right thing? Technically, everybody's happy with him. The Democrats are happy. Republicans are happy. Republicans never wanted him to dismiss this because this case is a dog. And that must make Fani feel real great when the Republicans say, we want you to stay on because you're incompetent. The Democrats are hoping something. But by the way, her career is through. She's finished. She's finished. She has been, we have learned so much about her life, her family, or this, where she lives, her father, the cash. She is just, this will be forever emblazoned in the blotter of history, forever and ever again. She's through politically. She might do something local, but her chance for this acceleration, no. And by the way, you notice how few people in the Democratic Party supported her, except for Barbara Streisand, who said she's a proud Black woman and her private life is nobody's business. Okay. So she's through with it. She's done. She will never, ever, ever get anywhere near what she thought she was going to because of her arrogance, this entitled arrogance. Somebody here in the room one time called her bratty. She really is. She's snide. She has contempt for you. The look, the attitude, the demeanor. And no, she didn't have her dress backwards, which was kind of funny, but it's that demeanor. They're going to destroy this. The real winners, Ashley Merchant, fantastic, thorough, great demeanor, great, understands the nature of the case. Remember, if you have something to work with, if you've got a decent factual case, that's one thing. Next, what's important is that these lawyers are not doing the usual Trump lawyer thing. Alina Habba, she's all over the place. She's a superstar. Look at me. Look at my Instagram. Hey, I'm sexy. Look at me. That now remember Trump's first lawyer, Joe Tacopina. Where did he go? I'm out of there. He was in the original case with Alvin Bragg. I have no idea where that case went. How you handle yourself, and by the way, this is local, and these are people who are from the area, who know the judges, know the climate, know everything. They know it. They know the demeanor. They know the attitude. Being apart, having an accent, having regionalism. One of the problems that Mike Tyson had years ago when he was doing that rape case was he decided, I'm going to hire some big city guy and go to some area. What was it, Baltimore? I forget where it was. But it was not somebody who lives there. Now, what happens too is Trump has got to realize, do not say anything. Somebody has to either grab his social media, his Truth Social, and tell him no. If you're going to say something, talk about how much you love this country, how much you love the court system, how much you love due process, how important it is for you, how you admire and represent and you respect the brave men and women who do whatever you can. Trump does this stuff that is so bloody stupid. When he went after E. Jean Carroll, no, what are you doing? Don't do this. You don't have to do it. What will drive Fani crazy is if you talk around her or you compliment the system by excluding her. You know, our system was founded on the notion of prosecutors who bring a case based upon the actual evidence adduced and not political. That means, now, bottom line is this. Do you believe, quick vote, do you believe that President Trump will be acquitted? Can you tell me? If the answer is yes, the number one, just put the number one. If the answer is no, number two. Do you believe that Trump will be acquitted of this? Nothing else. Yes is one, two is no. What do you believe? What do you believe? Remember, simple question. Paulie says yes. Willie says yes. I love this. Matthew, yes. 1.5. Army always has to be the kind. Bro, yep. Mark Lewis, yep. I absolutely say this is the only case. Absolutely. Well, two things. This case and the initial Alvin Bragg case involving the payment to Dusty Saddles or whatever her name was, the strumpet. This one, this is a dog. Too complicated. Just no. This problem after problem after problem. Racketeering, maybe something a little bit different, maybe something easier. I don't know. This is good news for him. And the good news why this is also important is that it gives people the impression, and it's important because it stinks up everything. The funk of this permeates everything else. Okay? Now, the bottom line is simply this. And this is terrible. Who's going to win the election in 2024? And by the way, what I'm doing something right now is something that I wish other people would do. If you're going to have something live, the whole notion of the important thing about live streams are important. Number one, because you're doing it live, there's a certain feel to it. Number two, people can talk to each other, and I like that. The interplay. Because we always meet at usually 8 and 7 p.m., and there's a family here. We call it the conspiratorium, where people meet. We have a lot of new people here. But who do you think is going to win in 2024? Trump. People say, well, this is just a Trump crew. This is just a Trump crew. Let me tell you something. I want you to see something right now. See this man right here? Can you see him? This is the greatest president in my lifetime. Now, he's not perfect, but I also have I have more Trump memorabilia than you have. You can't imagine. Because whenever we go to Washington, I would go to the White House gift shop. Now, Trump does stuff sometimes that just drives me crazy. Trump does something just drives me crazy. But he is the only answer for this country. I'm sorry to say this. Whether you like him or not, let me explain something. Make sure you tell people this. Trump is chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is a poison. Chemotherapy is a substance that you would never use in real life or never use for any other reason other than when somebody has cancer. Chemotherapy can kill you. Chemotherapy does not exist in a world other than stopping something. My friends, we are living in a world right now where we are under attack, and this is the only thing that I care about. This is the Constitution. Well, I mean, I care about my wife and family, but this is a Constitution. And you see this in the back of this? All of my stickers, even have more. Whenever, over the years, whenever I go in, if I run out of space here, but being able to vote. And President Trump said, I don't believe the outcome of the 2020 election. Is there anyone here who does not believe that Trump had his election stolen legally? Now, remember one thing. It's one thing to say, well, they stole the election. I say there was nothing that was done that was in violation of any law, apparently, as no court has found. Nobody seems to. So the answer is they stole it legally. Because if you think, let me ask you this question. This is my favorite. 2020 election. This was popular vote. Joe Biden, 81.3 million votes. Trump, 74 million. Now, it's moot at this point. It's moot. We saw case after case after case of what appeared to be some pretty scary stuff. Remember Philadelphia? Remember the cardboard on the windows? Remember that one? And then our good friend Dinesh D'Souza, 2,000 mules or whatever. I mean, it was one. But the court said, no, that's not enough, or there's not enough, or it's not systematic. It's not enough. It's okay, whatever. Well, you can say whatever you want. And the courts have spoken. But I think we all know deep down in our hearts that sometimes maybe things aren't proved, can be proved, or nobody's really interested. But you are an American citizen, and if you can't bring a case that says, I don't think I was treated fairly, like Al Gore did, remember that? Bush against Gore, 2000? What do you think that was? Come on, Al, you denier. Hillary Clinton said it was the Russians. You don't think that's deny? Trump just said, I don't know who it is. Trump's theory was, I won. Hillary said, no, it was this, it was Putin. It was this craziness. We are under attack, dear friends. And I have friends of mine, and they're good people. They really are. And they're Democrats and whatever it is. And I said, let me ask you something. Do you really want, I know you hate, and I know you hate Trump, but do you really want 4 more years of this? Let me tell you something right now. There's a meme that's going along, and I love this meme, and I will say this. And I don't normally like to say it, but it means there's 3 panels of this meme. One is he's wearing a mask under his nose. It drives me crazy. Under the nose. Like, what's the purpose of this? In any event, and the first panel says, whoever thinks the government can be overthrown with a militia doesn't know how tanks and jet fighters work. Remember that? That's what people said. You and your Second Amendment people are out of your mind. You and your Second Amendment people are out of your mind. What is the matter with you? Okay, first panel. Whoever thinks the government can overthrow or be overthrown with a militia doesn't know how tanks and jet fighters work. Second panel. But you claim the government was almost overthrown on January 6th by unarmed people merely walking into a building. Precisely. I'm tired of sitting back and seeing my country and my Constitution destroyed. Is Trump perfect? Not by a long shot. But I can't take 4 more years of this. You understand this? 81 million people voted for the basement meat sack zombie. Yeah, they did. Trump would go out I'm 65 years old, my friends. I say that proudly. I even have a document, a card I carry in my wallet in New York City. Is for subways and buses. It says senior citizen. And I go like that. So I've been around, see? I've been around. But when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, I've been around. I've seen some things, see? See? I've seen some things. And I have, been around. I've seen it. But I have never seen what I am seeing here. And I have never seen how my country has been taken over by a group of people that are so scary. What was the latest thing you said, honey? That illegals are going to what? Oh, get no insurance?
It's being reported by people who quit working on the border. They immediately get $600 in cash. They immediately get to pick where they want to go, and they immediately are given licenses now to report it. So
you mean people coming in illegally?
Illegally.
Okay.
Licenses, and they don't need ownership.
We live in a world where, for some particular reason, listen to me carefully, our borders are not being protected. Now, if you think that's not true, you're not paying attention. Number two, I live in this city, and there are other cities that are worse, where we have all of a sudden this influx of people, we don't know who they are. And by the way, I will say this, God bless a lot of these folks now, because in New York City, if you want to get something delivered, they are all on bikes driving at breakneck speed, these e-bikes, and they will kill you. They will kill you if you, I'm dead serious. The number one fear I fear in this country is not on subways, not criminals, but being hit by a bike. They just fly through. They have no interest in, they don't know what lights mean. They don't know, whoever these people are. And all of a sudden, overnight, we have these cars, these bikes, mopeds, e-bikes, with little paper tag. I saw one yesterday. I should have taken a picture. It had a Chinese license tag. Chinese. It was from China. I don't know why I didn't take a picture. Oh yeah, where were we? We're walking. Yeah, we saw it. They just drive by. Yeah. There's no order here. Flying through lights. Okay, fine. Now, who was it when they were doing this stuff about, when Elon Musk, they're going after brother Elon. God bless Elon Musk. I don't give a damn what you say. He's like chemotherapy also. I don't know where this perfect stuff comes from. I will take all these people. I will take Elon Musk, Trump, whatever it is. But Elon Musk was on with that rat bastard Don Lemon, that turncoat, vile con man who went to CNN and said, look, do me a favor. I can't do this stuff. Let me come back. I got to deal with Elon. I'm going to go on his show. Okay. Supposedly he's working something out. I'm going to ask him everything from ketamine to whatever. I'm going to embarrass him and maybe he'll fire me. But please, would you bring me back? You know, Don, a couple of months ago, he said, but we are so bad right now. We are in free fall. Okay. Fine. They're saying that you allow people to have this, and they give it a name. They call it the replacement theory. What? It's a replacement theory. What does that mean? The replacement theory is that you've got a bunch of people. This is so racist. It's so crazy, but I'll tell you anyway, because I can't believe it. Well, a bunch of people are coming into this country, and they're replacing, in essence, they're changing the demographic in order to have a permanent Democratic Party. And that's racist? Yes, that's racist. Why? Because they call it the replacement theory. They don't really argue the facts. Now, I don't know about you, but we're not going to argue that point because this is about Fani Willis. But all I know is this. I can guarantee you one way that this continues is by voting Democratic in 2024. Now, this is up to you. My friends, you use your franchise. You use this and you vote anyway. If you like this, if you want more of this, if you want more of this transgender stuff and whatever the hell this is, I don't know what it's called. I have no idea. If you want more crime, if you want more Kamala Harris's, if you want that, you have every right in the world to vote your conscience. And I ask you to do this. But if you're not into that, if you find that that's a problem, if you find that we'll be better off without this, do me and everybody a favor and vote your conscience and vote for Trump. Now, let me also tell you, by the way, I don't know how many of you folks are new here. Please subscribe. The Democratic nominee, and everybody knows this, is going to be Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is going to always. Joe Biden is one day going to wake up just like whatever, and they're going to it's just like with Princess Kate or Catherine. She's gone. You know that? You know she's gone, right? I know you don't care about that, but she's gone. They just stopped talking about her. There's nobody, none of her staff, nobody knows where the hell she is. You can't believe what's going on in this country. That's why I live in a world where I can't believe it. But this country is going straight down the drain. And let me also tell you something. To my black and white and Latino and brown and whatever brothers and sisters, African Americans, Asian Americans, Latinos, and especially to my friends who are, because we've been here for a long time, Mrs. L's been in the entertainment business, we know more gay people than you do. Believe me. And they have been completely supplanted by a group of people who are called transgenders. I don't know, but nobody talks about gay rights. Nobody talks about lesbians. We talk about this group. And by the way, transgenders deserve they violated no laws. It's only when they affect children that I have a problem. This is the world. Here we go. And I'm very upset about something. I don't know about you saw this, but I got this at Dollar Tree. And I'm hearing that Dollar Trees are closing all over the place. And this broke my heart because I love Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree, by the way, is one of the biggest food sources in the country. And this is a beautiful globe. See all these people around here? All this. There are people right now trying to completely change the order of this, to make this all one world unit, a singular unipolar world run by, and I'm sorry, you know it's true, globalists, ghouls, jackals, people of all kinds, people who are following a Klaus Schwab. That's right. A great reset. We have a big goal in front of us. Please do me a favor. Accept my thanks for being with me today, sharing this moment. 2 hours and 7 minutes I've spoken with you after doing over an hour this morning. Okay? Please do me a favor and recognize this fact. We need your vote. Sparky knows what I'm talking about. Off topic, the establishment wants you to believe Haitian rebel leader Jimmy Barbecue is a cannibal. A better description is the Haitian Serpico. We will follow this. And by the way, Sparky, you have been 100% exhibiting a passion that is nonpareil. I don't know what's going on right now. I can't tell you what's going on in Israel or Palestine. I'm sorry. We can talk about that. Ukraine, Russia, we can talk about that. I care about one thing only, the United States of America. Period. First and foremost. I want us to live pursuant to this. Fani Willis is an operative. She is a part of the shadow government. The shadow government, the police state, intel state, shadow government, deep state, ruling class, wherever these people are, shifting this, taking these automatons, these apparatchiks, and putting them and going after Donald Trump to teach him and everybody a lesson. This has got to be stopped. We had a victory today. And I wanted to spend this time with you, 2 hours and soon to be 10 minutes. Okay? So God bless America. And by the way, God bless YouTube for allowing us the opportunity to talk. And I mean that. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Please subscribe to the channel. Sparky's back. Sparky says, Jimmy Barbecue began as a righteous policeman among deep-seated corruption. By the way, Sparky, if you could somehow remember, always ask yourself, what is it that Haiti has? Let me ask you, what natural resource, what does it have that the globalists want? My good friend Gerald Salenti said one time, I'll never forget, he said, what do you think the chances of us ever invading Iraq would be if their main export were broccoli? What does Haiti have that they want? To be continued. Thank you, dear friends. Let me also ask you something right now, which is very, very critical. And I say this. My beloved, my wife, my counterpart, my chiral opposite, my complement, Mrs. L, has a website, a YouTube channel called Lynn's Warriors. She devotes herself specifically to combating child predation, human trafficking, and promoting digital safety. Now, what is being done to our children is so sickening and so awful. Our biggest enemy, believe it or not, are people who refuse to want to hear it because it's that horrible. Please do me a solid, as the kids say, and subscribe to Lynn's Warriors, and also follow her on X or Twitter at Lynn's, LYNNS_Warriors. I thank you, my friends. I don't mind telling you, I have enjoyed this more than you could possibly understand, and I thank you for this. And I say this again. It's the Constitution. That's it. Not the flag. No. It's the Constitution. Have a great and a glorious day. Don't ever change. I mean that sincerely. Please subscribe. And don't forget this. As we always say, our valedictory, our adios, our sayonara. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Dead.